Good evening, everyone listening from all around the world, including Canada, Long Island, USA, Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. I'm your man, G Money Stacks, aka YouTuber with two shows on YouTube, aka The Greginator, aka Lonely Nomad, aka Rookie Podcaster of Queens, New York. And you are now listening and tuning into Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast, episode 9. How about that? Now, I do sincerely apologize for not recording yesterday. Apparently, I was exhausted from work yesterday, and I was kind of drained, and I wasn't able to do it yesterday. So I wanted to make it up for it by doing it today. Um, Other than that, if you missed any previous episodes of Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast, don't worry, I got you. I want you to subscribe to the Meticulous Vibe Juice YouTube channel. Um, be sure to enable alerts. Be sure to click the notification bell so you can be reminded when the show goes on the air live. Also, be sure to be sure to share the videos and and also upcoming episodes, previous episodes, and be sure to leave a like and a comment alongside with the topics, and also the notification bell so you can be reminded on when the show goes on the air live, via live stream, more video content, and plus be sure to share the podcast along with audio streaming platforms, which I will go over at the end of the show, um, with your friends. All right. Now, today's episode is going to be this is a review. This for those of you who may not know what this is. This is a review show where we go over the bodies of work of music artists, the TV shows, the movies. You know the vibes though, man. This is what this is though. This is not one of those karaoke stuff. All right. Um, Today's episode 9 is going to be about majority of things. It's like 5 things we're gonna go over today. So today's music artist we're gonna go over today is Bow Wow, and I bring him up because he did Tokyo Drift, which I will go over after I go over the albums and stuff. So here we go. Um, all right. So as an adult, called um he had an album called Wanted, which came out July 12th, 2005. Recorded 2004 to 2005 is hip hop. Um, also, also he has singles from the Wanted album, "Let Me Hold You," featuring Amarion, which was released March 11th, 2005. "Like You," featuring Sierra, August 6th, 2005. "Fresh as I'm Is," November 1st, 2005. Warner was supported by 3 singles: "Let Me Hold You," featuring singer Omarion; "Like You," featuring Sierra; and Fresh as I'm Is, featuring Jaquan and Jermaine Dupri. "Big Dreams," the remix to Fresh as I'm Is, featuring Mike Jones and Caviar, featuring Snoop Dogg, were served as an accompanying accompanying music videos. Clean versions of "Fresh as I'm Is" and "Let Me Hold You" were recorded. The album received mixed to positive reviews from music critics and was commercially successful, debuting at number 3 on the US Billboard 200 chart, selling 120,000 copies in the first week and eventually being certified platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America in December 2005. Now we go over the reaction. Okay, so professional ratings under critical reception, all music 3 stars, Entertainment Weekly mixed, People 3.5 stars, Rap Reviews 4.5 out of 10, USA Today 3.5 stars, Vibe 3.5 stars. The album received mixed to favorable reviews from music critics. Steve Jones of USA Today found some change in Bow Wow and his music, concluding with, in quote, "This album doesn't break any new ground but marks the coming of age of a likable artist." David Jeffries of AllMusic praised Bow Wow for his charisma throughout the album, despite its B-level beats and that it's marketing towards a teen demographic. He concluded that at the very least, it's an interesting way to develop a child star into an adult star, and a hook-filled one at that. Angie Romero of Vibe highlighted the first 2 singles off the album, but found everything else to be lackluster, saying the rest of Wanted finds him struggling to carve his niche as a grown rapper and minus the Bow Wow bounce. Matt Jost of Rap Reviews gave a mixed review, criticizing the generic production from Jermaine Dupri and finding Bow Wow to be unspectacular in the material given to him. He concluded by saying, with Wanted, he's still in transition. Chances for a turnaround are still intact, but the way things are looking, Bow Wow is speeding down a dead end street. Now, we go over commercial performance. Warner debuted at number 3 on the US 200 chart, selling 120,000 copies in the first week, and becoming Bow Wow's third US top 10 album. In its second week, the album dropped to number 5 on the chart, selling an additional 61,000 copies. In its fifth week, the album returned to the top 10 at number 10, selling 51,000 copies. On December 19th, 2005, the album was certified platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America for selling over 1 million copies. As of December 2006, the album has sold 956 copies in the United States. Wow. Let's see. Yeah, let's go to the chart. So the US chart, US Billboard 200, peak position 3, US top R&B hip hop albums, Billboard peaked at 3, US top rap albums, Billboard 1. Year end charts, Billboard 200, position 93, US top R&B and hip hop albums, Billboard 19, US top R&B hip hop albums, Billboard 95. Certifications: United States platinum, 1 million certified unit in sales. All right. Um, Another album that I want to review is here we go, The Price of Fame. Yes. So The Price of Fame is the 5th studio album by American rapper Bow Wow, The album was released on December 19th, 2006 through LBW Entertainment and Columbia Records. The production on the album was primarily handled by Jermaine Dupri, Nitty, Little Ronnie, and R. Kelly. The album also features guest appearances by Chris Brown, um, Jonta Austin, Pip C, T-Pain, Lil Wayne, and many others. The album was released December 19th, 2006, recorded 2005 to 2006. Of course, hip hop, soul, R&B. Um, so so the singles from the album is "Shorty Like Mine," "Out of My System," and "I'm a Flirt." Professional ratings, review scores. All Music gave it four out of 5 stars. Rap reviews 6 out of 10. The Price of Fame received generally positive reviews from music critics and was a commercial success. The album debuted at number 6 on the U.S. Billboard 200 chart, selling 262,000 copies in the first week. A month later, the album was certified gold by the Recording Industry Association of America in January 2007. Um, okay, so the first single from the album was "Shorty Like Mine" featuring Chris Brown and Jonta Austin, released on October 23rd, 2006. It peaked at number 9 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 chart. Hold on when I take the sip of the. All right. The second single was "Out of My System" featuring T-Pain, released on February 13th, 2007. It peaked at number 22 on the chart. The third single, I don't know about that. The fourth and final single was supposed to be Four Corners, but was never released as a single, and a video was not shot. Every track on the album is edited, although explicit versions of songs such as "Shorty Like Mine," "Four Corners," and "I Don't Know About That" were recorded. Okay, commercial performance. The Price of Fame debuted at number 6 on the U.S. Billboard 200 chart, selling 262,000 copies in its first week. This became Bow Wow's fourth U.S. top 10 album. On January 23rd, 2007, the album was certified gold by the Recording Industry Association of America for sales of over 500,000 copies in the United States. As of November 26, 2008, the album has sold 600,000 copies in the U.S. Okay, let's go to the charts. All right. So U.S. Billboard 200, peak position 6, U.S. top in R&B and hip hop albums, Billboard peak position 2, U.S. top rap albums, Billboard peak position 2. Year-end charts, U.S. Billboard 200, 91, U.S. top R&B and hip hop albums, Billboard 35, U.S. top rap albums, Billboard 15. United States gold, 500,000 certified units in sales. And another one is, another one is New Jack City 2. Okay. New Jack City 2 is the 6th studio album by American rapper Bow Wow. It was released on March 31st, 2009 through LBW Entertainment and Columbia Records. This is Bow Wow's first album to be released on his new label, LBW Entertainment. and his first album to be receiving a parental advisory label for adult language. The production on the album was handled Jermaine Dupri, L Rock, Nitty, T-Pain, and Swiss Beats, among others. The album also features guest appearances from Swiss Beats, Jermaine Dupri, Nelly, Trey Songz, T-Pain, Ron Browse, Dondria, and T.I. It was released March 31st, 2009, recorded 2006 to 2009. Of course, hip hop, gangster rap, R&B. um, let's see. So, professional ratings. All Music gave it 4 stars. Common Sense Media, never really heard of them. Gave it 2 stars. DJ Booth gave it 4.5 stars. IGN 6.7 out of 10. Pop Matters gave it 2 stars. The Smoky Section 3 stars. US Today 2 stars. Vibe Unfavorable. Double XL 3 stars. Damn, that's crazy. Let's go to the background. So, executive producer Jermaine Dupri based the album's titles on the 1991 film New Jack City, feeling that the relationship between himself and Bow Wow was reminiscent of the rancorous but successful business partnership between Nino and G Money, the two main drug dealers in New Jack City, and that the album was like the continued success that those two characters could have had in a sequel if they had been able to resolve their differences peacefully. There are 3 versions for this album released, which is a standard, a limited edition, including a bonus DVD, and a warm-up version, which is only a clean edition with 3 bonus tracks. Now, singles. The lead single for his 6th album, You Can Get It All, which features guest vocals from Jonta Austin, while it produced by Jermaine Dupri and Brian Michael Cox, was released. This track contains a sample of TLC's hit Baby Baby Baby. The album's promotional single, Marco Polo, which featured guest vocals by Soulja Boy Tellum, who also later produced the song, was released, accompanying by a music video. The music video was shot and filmed at the aquatic park outside of an Atlanta suburb known as Sun Valley Beach in Paulding Cole, Georgia. The music video premiered on the Soulja Boy Tellum's YouTube page and was premiered via FNMTV on July 25th, 2008. The album's second promotional single, Big Girls, accompanied by a music video, premiered on YouTube, which was released the day after the release of Marco Polo. The complete version was released later on YouTube for some time, but then removed again for unknown reasons. There is no official date on the video's re-release. The music video for Rock the Mic, which features guest vocals by Jermaine Dupri, who also produced the song, was released. It was shot in Los Angeles, California, near the Staples Center. The video for the song You Can Get It All, featuring Jonta Austin and produced by Dupri, was shot and filmed in Malibu, California, and was later released. Both videos were directed by Hype Williams. A video was also filmed for Paul in My Basement with a strip club theme. It premiered on May 30th, 2009 on Bow Wow's official YouTube page. While he was on his tour bus, Bow Wow also made unofficial videos for his songs Sunshine, Like This, and She's Mine. Commercial performance, New Jack City 2, they debuted it at number 16 on the US Billboard 200, selling 31,000 copies in its first week. The album also debuted at number 5 on the US Top R&B and Hip Hop Albums charts. We're going to go to charts. I'm not going to go to personnel or track listings. You guys could really look at it for yourself. So here we go. US Billboard 200, peak position 16. US Top R&B Hip Hop Albums Billboard 5. US Top Rap Albums Billboard 2, peak position. Of course, the US Top R&B and Hip Hop Albums Billboard, peak position 96. All right. Okay, we're gonna go to the Fast and the Furious franchise. So our next review is going to be, hang on a second. Our next review is going to be Tokyo Drift. Here we go. That's the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, which is the movie Bauer was in. It's a 2006 action film directed by Josh Lin and written by Chris Morgan. It is the standalone sequel to Too Fast, Too Furious 2003 and is the third installment in the Fast and Furious franchise. The film stars Lucas Black, Bow Wow, Natalie Kelly, Sue Kang, and Brian T. In the film, high school car enthusiast Sean Boswell is sent to live in Tokyo with his estranged father and finds solace exploring the city's drifting community with Honolulu. Okay. Yes, this was released June 16th, 2006. Budget $85 million. The box office made $158.9 million. We're gonna go to the reception. So the box office, right here. Tokyo Drift brought in over 23 million on its opening weekend, placing at number 3 behind Cars, which was 33.7 million, and Nacho Libre 28.3 million. The film itself was in limited release in Japan, released under the same name, Wild Speed 3. The US box office was 62,514,415, and it grossed another 96,450,195. Internationally, resulting in total receipts of 158,964 to be exact, $1,610. All right. Now for the critical response. Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift gained a 37% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes based on reviews from 137 critics. The average rating is 4.91 out of 10. The site's consensus reads, eye-popping driving sequences coupled with a limp story and flat performances make this drift a disappointing follow-up to previous Fast and Furious installments. On Metacritic, which determines a normalized rating out of 100 From mainstream critics, the film received a score of 46 out of 100 based on reviews from 31 critics, meaning mixed or average reviews. Audiences surveyed by Cinema Score gave the film a, a grade A minus on a of A to F. Oh boy. You know what? Fuck the critics, man. I could care less about what they think, man. As long as you enjoy, as long as I enjoy the movie, and as long as everybody else out there enjoys the movies and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't let the film critics get to you. So just putting it out there, though. um. Anyway, Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times praised the film, giving it 3 out of 4 stars, saying that the director Justin Lin, quote, takes an established franchise and makes it surprisingly fresh and intriguing, adding that Tokyo Drift is more observant than we expect, and that the story is about something more than fast cars. Michael um, Michael S. Rago of the Baltimore Sun felt that the opening half hour may prove to be a disreputable classic of pedal to the metal filmmaking, and the last downhill race is a doozy. Kirk Honeycutt of the Hollywood Reporter said that, in quote, it's not much of a movie, but a hell of a ride. Todd McCarthy of Variety gave the film a positive review and wrote, praising the good old-fashioned genre filmmaking done in a no-nonsense, unpretentious style, and saying third entry stays in high gear most of the way, with several exhilarating racing sequences and benefits greatly from the evocative Japanese setting. McCarthy particularly praised the work of stunt coordinator Terry J. Leonard. Hold on, guys. All right. All right. Michael Medved gave Tokyo Drift 1.5 stars out of 4, saying there's no sorry about that. There's no discernible plot or emotion or humor. Medved concluded the main achievement of this vapid time waster involves its promotion of new appreciation for the first 2 movies in the series. James Bernardinelli from Rear Reviews also gave it 1.5 stars out of 4, saying, in quote, I expect a racing film to be a derivative. That goes with the territory. No one is seeing a Fast and the Furious movie for the plot. When it comes to eye candy, the film is on solid ground. It offers plenty of babies and cars, with the latter being more lovingly photographed than the former. However, it is unacceptable that the movie's action scenes, races, and chases are boring and incoherent. If the movie can't deliver on its most important assets, what's the point? Richard Roper strongly criticized the film, saying the whole thing is preposterous. The acting is awful, some of the worst performances I've seen in a long time. Ethan Alter of Premiere Magazine was also critical of the acting, particularly Black's performance. In quote, the problems with Tokyo Drift start with its ostensible hero during the course of this movie. Sean makes so many dumb decisions, it's a wonder that
anyone wants to be associated with him.
He's playing a character, you idiots.
Sheesh. Um, Peter Travers of Rolling Stone said that Tokyo Drift suffers from blurred vision, motor drag, and a plot that's running on fumes. Look out for a star cameo. It's the only surprise you'll get from this heat. Mick LaSalle of the San Francisco Chronicle criticized the film, saying it quickly tanks thanks to a lead character with no goals, focus, appeal, or intelligence, and a lead actor who's just a little too convincing. Excuse me, who's a little too convincing at playing a dunce. And as for the racing scenes, who cares about the finesse movie of drifting compared to going fast? Um,
People do.
and who wants to watch guys race in a parking lot? For that matter, who wants to watch guys race down a mountain with lots of turns? Matt Singer of Village Voice wrote, like Too Fast, Too Furious before it, Tokyo Drift is a subculture in search of a compelling storyline, and Black's leading performance makes you pine for the days of Paul Walker. Rob Cohen, who directed the first film of the series, was very critical of this film, saying, if you were to just watch Tokyo Drift, you'd say, I never want to see anything related to Fast and the Furious again. When critics rank the movies against each other, Tokyo Drift has often appeared on the bottom of the list. Over time, it has become a favorite, excuse me, with some fans, and it has been placed in with the top four by some critic rankings, and even at the number one and two positions by others. Critics and fans have come to appreciate it for introducing Sue Kang and Justin Lin to the franchise, and enjoyed the simple story, stylish direction, and that the film never takes itself too seriously. Furthermore, with the film series becoming more dependent and incorporating less realistic storylines, the simplicity of Tokyo Drift has become more appreciated by critics. Um, it won the Teen Choice Awards, Choice Movie Male Breakout Star Lucas Black, Choice Summer Movie Action Drama, The Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. It was nominated.
As for the music,
Um, let's see. As for the music, original motion picture composed of 12 songs was released on June 20th, 2006 through Universal Motown. It features contributions from Don Omar, Teriyaki Boys, Atari, Teenage Riot, Brian Tyler, DJ Shadow, Dragon Ash, Evil 9, Far East Movement, Mos Def, NERD, Tago Calderon, and the 5678s. Brian Tyler's original score was released on June 27th via Reese Saraban a week after original motion picture soundtrack. Okay. I'm not even gonna go over this, so let's go to the continuity. Alright. Following Tokyo Drift, three films were released. Fast and Furious in 2009, Fast 5 in 2011, and Fast and Furious 6 in 2013 to be exact. These films are set before the events of Tokyo Drift and establish Han Lu with the main characters before he settled in Tokyo. Han's explosive car crash was revisited in the post-credit scene of Fast and Furious 6, introducing Deckard Shaw, which is Jason Statham, as the other driver setting up Furious 7. Black briefly reprises his role in Furious 7. Black, Kang, Wow, and Jason Tobin return to the cast in Fast 9. which revealed that Han faked his death in the car crash with the aid of government agent Mr. Nobody.
Okay.
That's not bad. Um,
Next movie um, that's going to be reviewed is The Fate of the Furious, which is one of my favorite movies, actually, which actually took place in New York. So, The Fate of the Furious, formerly known as Fast 8, um, is a 2017 American action thriller film directed by F. Gary Gray and written by Chris Morgan. It is the sequel to Furious 7, 2015, and its eighth installment in the Fast and Furious franchise. The film stars Vin Diesel, Dwayne Johnson, Jason Statham, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese Givens, Ludacris, Scott Eastwood, Natalie Emmanuel, Elsie Pataki, Kurt Russell, and Charlize Theron. In the film, Dominic Toretto has settled down with his wife Letty Ortiz until cyber terrorist Cypher coerces him into working for her and turns him against his team, forcing them to find Dom and take down Cypher. Okay. Um all right. So let's go over the production. Okay, in November 2014, Universal Pictures chairman Donna Langley told the Hollywood Reporter, to be exact, that there would be at least three more films in the franchise after Furious 7. In April 2015, Vin Diesel stated that the possible sequel that Paul Walker used to say that an eighth film was guaranteed. And in some ways, when your brother guarantees something, you sometimes feel like you have to make sure it comes to pass. Diesel further hinted at an eighth film on Jimmy Kimmel Live when he stated that Kurt Russell's character would span multiple films. He also stated that the next film would take place in New York City. Chris Morgan returned to write his sixth script in the franchise, while Neil H. Moritz returned to produce. Moritz later stated, "The story is going to have to be something enticing for all of us. It has to be as good as or better than Furious 7." At the 2015 CinemaCon in Las Vegas, Diesel announced the film for an April 14, 2017 release date. In August, at the 2015 Teen Choice Awards, um, where Furious 7 received the award for Choice Movie Action and Walker received the award for Choice Movie Actor in Action, Diesel gave the film the initial title Fast 8. In September, Diesel stated that the script had almost been completed and expressed interest in Rob Cohen, who directed the first film, to direct the eighth installment. In October, Diesel announced on The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon that Straight Outta Compton director F. Gary Gray would direct the film. In July, Moore said that Walker's character Brian O'Connor would not appear in the film, following the use of CGI in the previous film after Walker died in a single vehicle accident in November 2013, with Moritz stating that his character had moved on. It had previously been reported that Paul's younger brother, Cody Walker, would either join the cast in a new role or replace his older brother in the role of O'Connor. However, it was later announced that the character would not return to the franchise. Moritz said, to be exact, that the film would shift the focus of the franchise from a series of heist films to a spy caper
following a similar change in focus from street racing in Fast 5, 2011. In December 2016, the film was retitled The Fate of the Furious.
Hold on. All right. I'm not going to go over the casting, um, which you guys probably know about this by now. Sorry about my tummy. Um, okay. In keeping with the franchise's um, penchant for filming in exotic locations such as Abu um, the Hobby and Rio de Janeiro. In January 2016, it was announced that Universal was seeking approval from the United States and Cuban governments to shoot part of the film in Cuba. Um, Principal photography began on March 14th in um, Mývatn in Iceland, where strong winds sent a plastic iceberg prop flying into a paddock. The prop struck two horses. One was wounded and the other mortally injured. It was later euthanized. In late April, filming began in Cuba's capital city, Havana. In May, filming also took place in Cleveland. Franchise cinematographer Stephen F. Winden returned for the eighth installment. Filming also took place in Atlanta and New York City. Now, for the music portion goes like this. Brian Tyler, who scored the third, fourth, fifth, and seventh installments, was tapped to compose the film score for the eighth picture. A soundtrack, all excuse me, a soundtrack album by Atlantic Records was released on April 14th, 2017. As you can hear the planes, I can't control that. Um, coincided with the film's U.S. theatrical release. The film's score album was released on April 27th by Backlot Music. The release, um, Fate of the Furious, had its world premiere in Berlin on April 4th, 2017. The film was theatrically released in the United States on April 14th. The film was released in 1,074 IMAX screens around the world, making it the widest opening in IMAX history. Wow. Um, Home media, the Fate of the Furious was released on Ultra Great HD, Blu-ray, and DVD on July 11, 2017 by Universal Pictures and Home Entertainment. Now for the reception. So, reception box office. The Fate of the Furious grossed 226 million in the United States and Canada of one 1.10 billion dollars in other territories for a worldwide total of 1.236 billion dollars against a production budget of 250 million. The film was released in 64 territories worldwide, including almost all major markets minus Japan, starting from April 12th, 2017, and it was projected to earn anywhere between 375 to 440 million in its 5-day opening weekend. By the end of the weekend, it ended up earning $539.9 million from nearly 23,000 screens, way above initial projections to score the biggest global opening in cinematic history until it was surpassed by Avengers Infinity War 2018.
It also marked the third time that a film earned over $500 million in a single weekend after Star Wars The Force Awakens 2015, $529 million, and Jurassic World 2015, $525.5 million. In IMAX, the film made 31.1 million from 1,079 screens to rec- record the biggest IMAX April debut and the fourth biggest overall at the time. United States and Canada, like several of its predecessors, The Fate of the Furious was in the United States and Canada in the month of April, and its immediate predecessor occupied the lucrative Easter week holiday period slot, where it was expected to open with 100 to 125 million. It received the widest pre-summer release ever at an estimated 3,304 venues, besting the 4,242 opening theater count of Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice 2016 the previous March. The film made 10.4 million from Thursday night previews from 3,310 theaters, the second highest of the franchise behind Furious 7's 15.8 million. On its opening day, it grossed 45.6 million, with Thursday previews making up 22.8% of the amount, slightly better than 23% for Furious 7. Earning a total of 98.8 million on its opening weekend, the film scored the second biggest opening in the franchise and the third biggest April debut behind Furious 7 and The Jungle Book. It posted an almost identical weekend multiplier like the immediate predecessor. Scott Mendelson of Forbes magazine compared the opening to how Spectre opening fell from Skyfall 2012. One notable record the film set was the best opening for a film with an African American director, with Gray besting his own record set with Straight Outta Compton. Okay, other territories. Internationally, The Fate of the Furious secured a release in 69 countries. The film was projected to post an opening between 275 to 300 million from over 20,000 screens, with some analysis believing it could go as high as 350 to 400 million. It opened Wednesday, April 12th, 2017, in 8 countries, earning 17.9 million. It opened in 33 more countries on Thursday, April 2nd, for a total of 41 countries, earning 58.4 million, making Universal Pictures overseas highest grossing Thursday ever, and for a 2-day total of $82.2 million. Man, it added 22 more countries on Friday, April 3rd, earning $112.1 million to score Universal International's highest grossing Friday of all time, for a 3-day total of 194.8 million in total through Sunday. The film registered an opening of 44.1 million from 64 markets, setting new records for the biggest April international debut, Universal's biggest and the biggest of all time overall. It is the first such film to open past 400 million in a single weekend, with a bulk of it coming from China. Around 22.6 million came from 681 IMAX screens, which is Universal's second biggest behind only Jurassic World. It topped the international charts for a second consecutive term, adding another $158.1 million, after which it was surpassed by Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, another film starring Diesel and Russell, in its third weekend. In IMAX, the film has grossed north of 58 million. It set the record for the biggest opening day of 2017 in every territory it has been released at. The biggest opening day of all time in 16 markets. Universal's biggest opening day ever in 22 territories, and the biggest opening in the franchise in 38 markets. Moreover, it recorded the biggest paid per views of all time in Malaysia, Singapore, Venezuela, and Vietnam. In terms of the weekend, the film debuted at number one in all markets, where it set the biggest opening weekend of all time in 20 markets. Universal's biggest opening weekend ever in 28 markets, and the biggest opening in the franchise in 40 markets. The top openings were recorded in China, $192 million, Mexico, 17.7 million, United Kingdom 17.5 million, Russia 14.2 million, Germany 13.6 million, Brazil 12.8 million, India 10.7 million, Korea 10.6 million, uh, Middle East combined 9.9 million, Taiwan 9.3 million, France 9.2, Australia 9.5 million, Argentina 9 million, Indonesia 8.5 million, Italy 6.7 million, Malaysia 6.3 million, Spain 6.1 million, Colombia 4.9 million, Thailand 4.9 million, Panama 4.8 million, Pakistan 2.5 million, and Romania 1.7 million. Comparing the market to market performance, Fury 7 had an opening worth 200 million without China and Russia, while The Fate of the Furious delivered $228.2 million debut, sans the two aforementioned markets. In Japan, the film debuted with 7.5 million. Although that's a new record for the franchise, the film debuted at number three behind Disney's Beauty and the Beast reboot and local film Detective Conan Crimson Letter. Their robust second weekend earnings blocked the former from taking the top spot, making Japan one of the new few markets where the film didn't open at number one. The biggest earning markets are China, 392.8 million, followed by Brazil, 41.8 million, United Kingdom, 37.5 million, Mexico, 36.8 million, and Germany, $32.4 million. In Peru, it has become Universal's highest grossing film ever. Critical response. The Fate of the Furious received lukewarm reviews. The review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes reported an approval rating of 67% to be exact, with an average score of 6.13 out of 10 based on 301 reviews. The website's critical consensus lead reads, in quote, The Fate of the Furious opens a new chapter in the franchise, fueled by the same infectious cast chemistry and over-the-top action fans have come to expect. Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, assigned the film a score of 56 out of 100 on 45 critics, indicating, quote, mixed or average reviews. Audiences polled by CineScore gave the film an average grade of A and an A plus to F scale, and those at PostTrack gave the film an 88% overall positive score and a 71% definite recommend. Mike Ryan of Up Rocks gave the film a positive review, writing in quote, "This isn't my favorite of the series. That's still Furious 7. These movies know what they are. These movies know they are fun. These are fun movies." Owen Gillibrand, um, Owen Gleiberman, yes, Gleiberman of Variety, in his positive review of the film, wrote, in quote, most franchises after 8 films are feeling a twinge of exhaustion, but this one has achieved a level of success and perpetual kinetic creative energy that's a testament to its commercial, cultural, demographic renaissance. Rena- Resonance. Sorry. Yeah, Resonance. He also wrote, if this series over the last 16 years has taught us anything, it's that just when you think it's about to run out of gas, it gets outfitted with an even more elaborate fuel injection system. Um,
Hold on, guys.
okay, David Ehrlich of IndieWire gave the film a C minus and called it the worst entry of the franchise, saying as much a mess of conflicting tones and styles as it is of locations, this set piece, like the rest of Gray's movies, feels like a heap of random parts that were thrown together in the hopes that fate might somehow weld them into a road-worthy vehicle. But it's not all groundbreaking. J.R. Kennard of Pop Matters magazine gave a lukewarm review, writing, in quote, it's unlikely that the votes will consider The Fate of the Furious one of the stronger entries in the series. Still, the filmmakers and actors are clearly dedicated to making a quality product, avoiding the complacency that often plagues action sequels. Richard Roeper of the Chicago Sun-Times gave the film 2 stars out of 4, saying moments after Dom has gone rogue and apparently wants to kill them, they are making jokes as they are racing through the streets of New York City or skidding along the ice in Russia, killing bad guys and narrowly avoiding getting killed themselves. They are cracking wise. Even within the ludicrous universe, it's jarring to hear these supposedly smart folks who refer to themselves as family acting like idiots who don't seem to care if they live or die or if their friends survive.
It's called acting, fools.
Professor of International Political Economy Richard E. Feinberg has um, commented on the political significance of the film's opening setting of Havana in the context of shifting U.S. Cuban relations, calling the eighth installment Hollywood's love letter to Havana. He writes, in the Cuban sequence's dramatic climax, yeah, climax, Dom wins his fight, hard fought to be exact, 1 mile race, Cuban mile against a tough local competitor by a nose. The loser is gracious. You won my car and you earn my respect. He admits to the um, to the FF hero. Dom's response is equally magnanimous. Keep your car. Your respect is good enough for me. In this instance, Fast Furious 8 um, captures the essence of the relations between the United States and Cuba. It's all about mutual respect.
Now we go over. Now we're gonna go over the accolades. Um, so it got award Team Choice Awards. For Fate and Furious, Vin Diesel, Dwayne Johnson, Michelle Rodriguez, Charlize Theron. Um, Best Action of Film, um, Best Action or Adventure Film to be exact. Best Ending, Christian Wagner and Paul um, Rubel. They were all nominated. Now, the sequel title F9 is directed by Justin Lin, written by Daniel Casey, and was released on June 25th, 2021 this year. Um, okay. Let me see if I should. You know what? Hold on. Hold on a sec. Okay. Um, Hold on, guys. Um, all right. Now, I want to since New York and no, I'm gonna do New York Undercover next. I thought about reviewing Fast Nine, but let's talk about this, man. So F9, also known as the Fast Saga and Fast and Furious 9, is a 2021 American film directed by Justin Lin from a screenplay by Daniel Casey and Lin. It is the sequel to The Fate of the Furious 2017, the ninth main installment and 10th full-length film in the Fast and the Furious franchise. Of course, obvious is it stars Vin Diesel, John Cena, Michelle Rodriguez, Tyrese Gibson, Chris, Natalie Emmanuel, Jordana Brewster, Song Kang, Michael Rooker, Helen Mirren, Kurt Russell, and Charlize Theron. Oh boy! And Fast Nine, Dominic Toretto and the team come together to stop a world-shattering plot headed by Toretto's brother Jacob. Ooh, this is crazy. Um, let's see. All right, with a ninth and 10th film plan since 2014, Lin was confirmed to be directing Fast 9 in 2017 of October, returned to the franchise since last directing Fast and Furious 6, 2013. Fast 9 is the first film in the franchise since the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift 2006 to be exact. Not written by Chris Morgan. The cast was finalized with the addition of Cena in June 2019, and principal photography began that same month and lasted until that November, with filming locations including London, Los Angeles, and Thailand. Fast 9 was originally scheduled for a worldwide release by Universal Pictures on April 19, 2019, but was delayed several times, first due to the release of Hobbs and Shaw and planned release of No Time to Die, and then the COVID-19 pandemic, or I call it the slamdemic.
It premiered in South Korea and was released internationally on May 19, 2021, and in the United States on June 25th. The film received mixed reviews with praise for the stunts and Lynn's direction, but criticism for its unrealistic action sequences and formulaic script. It has grossed over $661 million worldwide, making it the third highest grossing film of 2021 and the highest grossing English language film of 2021. Two sequels are in development. Okay, so let's go to reception. Um, the box office goes like this. As of August 8th, 2021, Fast 9 has grossed 171, excuse me, $171 million in the United States and Canada and $490.3 million in other territories. Other territories. How about that? Um, in the United States and Canada, Fast 9 was projected to gross 55 to 65 million from 4,179 theaters in its opening weekend. The film made 30 million on its first day, including 7.1 million from Thursday night previews, both the best such totals of the pandemic period. It went on to debut to $70 million, the highest grossing weekend since Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, $72.4 million in December 2019. Like previous Fast and Furious films, the audience was diverse, with 37 Hispanic, 35 Caucasian, 16 Black, and 8% Asian, and skewed to both younger 51% under the age of 25 and male 57% crowds. In its second weekend, the film fell 67% to 23 million, remaining atop the box office. The, with Universal's Fast 9, The Boss Baby, Family Business, and Forever Purge finishing in the top three, it marked the first time a single studio accomplished the feat since February 2005. It also crossed 100 million domestically and 400 million internationally in a record of time for the COVID-19 pandemic era. The film made 11.4 million but was dethroned by newcomer Black Widow the following weekend, then made 7.6 million in its fourth frame, finishing in fourth. Over its 5-day international opening weekend beginning May 19th, Fast 9 was projected to gross 160 to 180 million dollars from 8 countries, including Cuba, Russia, and South Korea. It went on to debut to 163 million, the biggest international opening for a Hollywood film since the pandemic began in March 2020. It also set the pandemic record for IMAX gross 14 million dollars, and was the second biggest May international opening ever, despite playing in 26 fewer countries than the current record holder, Captain America: Civil War. The top markets from the weekend were China, $136 million, the second biggest ever opening of the franchise in the country. South Korea, 9.9 million. Russia, 8.3 million. Saudi Arabia, $2.67 million. And the UAE, 2.64 million. In its second weekend of international release, the film made 30.8 million, including 20.3 million in China and 3.7 million in South Korea.
Now we go to the critical response. That's the portion of the show that we go over. We go over critical responses, we go over the certifications, and of course awards, and of course the amount of money that it made in the box office, um which we will go over in future episodes. So here we go. So critical response on the review aggregator website. Rotten Tomatoes, 59% of 294 critics gave the film a positive review with an average rating of 5.7 out of 10. The site's critics consensus reads, in quote, Fast 9 sends the franchise hurling further over the top than ever, but director Justin Lin's knack for preposterous set pieces keeps the action humming. According to Metacritic, which assigned us a weighted average of 58 out of 100 based on 53 critics, the film received mixed or average reviews. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of B plus on an A plus to F scale, the lowest of the series since the first film. Sorry about the plane, folks. Can't control that. Um, Post track reported 80% of the audience members gave it a positive score, with 62% saying that they would definitely recommend it. From the rap, Alonzo Durall summarized the film by writing that, in quote, physics, gravity, and logic in the general have long since been thrown out of the window, but the jolts of pleasure keep coming. Matt Patches of Polygon criticized the film for its lack of characterization, saying, after 20 years of fast films, Dom is a totally functional blockbuster superhero, and that Fast 9 counteracts any character development by devoting a grating amount of time to meta commentary on its own ridiculousness. However, he also praised Lynn's direction in the set pieces by writing, in quote, each location fills Lynn's pockets with the currency of imagination, which he cashes in with absolute delight. Where previous installments built off the glory of the Italian Job, the French Connection, and Mad Max Fury Road, Fast 9 finds inspiration in the Harlem Ghostbusters. No, excuse me, Harlem Globetrotters to be exact. Did not know that.
The cars catch fallen bystanders, flip over enemy off-roaders, and stage intricately choreographed attacks using amped-up magnets. Variety's Owen Gleiberman found one of the opening scenes to be the suspenseful high point of the movie and wrote, in quote, the scene, the scene is so over the top, ludicrous, that is as if the filmmakers were saying, in quote, let's put what would have been the grand climax of Fast and the Furious 4 in the opening half hour. Good enough. But what do you do for an encore? Um, Writing for the Hollywood Reporter, John Defoe said that the future, in quote, probably sounds like more than it is, and concluded his generally negative review by saying that Furious 7 was a lot more fun. And not that anyone cares, but it was more believable as well. Meanwhile, IndieWire's David Ehrlich gave a more positive response with a C plus rating and praised Lynn's direction, writing, "This is a movie that slingshots so far. past self-parody that it loops all the way back to something real. Um, Jesse Jesse Hasinger of the AV Club also gave the film a C plus rating, remarking that Lynn's writing just isn't as fleet as his directing, and his directing in Fast 9 isn't as fleet as his work on Fast 5 or Fast and Furious 6. He added, the problem is all the runway in between the highlights, even longer than the endless literal concrete of the Fast and Furious 6 climax. After a reinvention as a warmer, more diverse Mission Impossible, um, the series has wound up more like a mid-period James Bond movie in its channel surfing bloat. And we go to the future. So Fast 9 will be followed by a 10th installment in October 2020 to be exact. It was revealed that the series will conclude with a 10th and 11th installment, with Wynn set to direct and the cast set to return for both. Um, and I believe I have one more thing to review, and that's one of my favorite TV shows that used to be on Fox 5 years ago. It was called New York Undercover. So here we go. New York Undercover is an American police drama that aired on the Fox television network from September 8th, 1984 to February 11th, 1999. The series starred Malik Yoba as Detective J.C. Williams and Michael DiLorenzo as Detective Eddie Torres, two undercover detectives in New York City's 4th Precinct who were assigned to investigate various crimes and gang-related cases. The cast also included Patty D. Arbanville Quinn as their superior, Lieutenant Virginia Cooper, and Lauren Velez, who joined the cast in the second season as Nina Moreno, fellow detective and love interest to Torres. New York Undercover was co-created and produced by Dick Wolf, and its storyline takes place in the same fictional universe as Wolf's NBC series Law and Order. Its spin-offs, the Chicago and FBI series, and Homicide: Life on the Street. All right. Um, Here we go. So you're gonna cover um whose working title during development was Uptown Undercover, named after the record label Uptown Records, whose founder and CEO Andre Harrell, SIP to him, was also the executive producer of the series. It is notable for being the first police drama on American television to feature two people of color in the starring roles. In contrast to the popularity of NBC's must-see TV on Thursday nights in the 1990s, many African American viewers flocked to Fox's Thursday night lineup of Living Single, which I will review in a future episode. New York Undercover and Martin. Um, okay. Um, so the synopsis goes like this. In addition to the main storylines in each episode, subplots explored the private lives of the show's characters. For example, Detective Williams struggled to raise his son, Gregory George O. Gore II, while Torres was shown to be fighting family and other related problems, including having to cope with his father, Mike Torres, played by Jose Perez, whose drug addiction and HIV positive status causes recurring issues, and a childhood friend turned organized crime boss. At the beginning of the third season, a new detective, Tommy McNamara, played by Jonathan LaPaglia, um, was introduced as a principal character in the third season finale in May 1997. Torres and Moreno are married. However, in that same episode, Torres and McNamara are both killed by a gang of bank robbers. The series returns with a new cast for its fourth and final season. In January 1988, Williams and Moreno were assigned to a new unit, resulting in Cooper being dropped from the cast. Joining the detectives were Lieutenant Malcolm Barker, um, played by Tony Ford, SIP to him, Detective Nell Delaney, Marissa Ryan, and Detective Alice Stone, Josh Hopkins. The unit eventually captured the last bank robber responsible for the deaths of Torres and McNamara. All right.
Now I did hear about some well, rumor in the air heard about the reboot or revival possibly, but this is gonna be like a wait and see type shit. So it'll be it'll be fucking interesting to have you're gonna cover back as a revival and as a potential reboot. But some people would ask if you were to bring it, if you were to bring the TV show back, where would the story go? Like, what's the new story? What's the new plot and stuff as far as characters and stuff and character development? Um, that's a good question to ask, though. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So potential reboot slash revival. On December 5th, 2018, Deadline reported that the series creator Dick Wolf and ABC were in talks to reboot the series. 6 days later, ABC officially committed to the reboot to a pilot. On January 31st, 2019, ABC officially ordered the reboot to pilot, also revealing that it would officially be a revival of the original series, featuring both old characters and a new cast. In February 2019, both Malik Yoba and Laura Valise were confirmed to reprise their respective roles as J.C. Williams and Nina Morano, and with Williams now being the overseeing officer of the new young detectives, and Morano being retired but retaining ties to her old unit. On March 12, 2019, ABC cast Toby Sanderman and Mara uh, Morano as the revival's two lead detectives, Nat Gilmore and Melissa Ortiz, as well as Anna Anger and Octavio Pisano as supporting detectives, Lisa Kim and Moses Hernandez, and Ashley Light as Lieutenant April Freeman, the unit's new boss. On May 10th, 2019, it was announced that the revival would not move forward on ABC, but would be shot to other networks and streaming services. As of January 2020, it is still being shopped around. In July 2020, Deadline reported that the revival might come to fruition on NBC Universal's new streaming service, Peacock. And like I said, man, this is more of a wait and see type shit. So it'll be interesting to see where they take the story of New York Undercover as far as like old and new characters. I mean, I think the purpose of a TV reboot, depending on what type of show it is, if it's like action, drama, or whatever. But I would say this is more like a wait and see. All right, this is more of a wait and see for me. Um, so listen, that's going to conclude this show today of episode 9. Now, listen, if you like what you heard, feel free to show some love by making a charitable donation to my Cash App, which is $G Money Stacks 555.
That's $GMONEY. Um, capital STACKZ 555. Now, it's not about breaking the bank. It's about whatever amount that you can afford will be appreciated. You don't have to have a lot of money to show support. Support is priceless. Remember that. Speaking of that, let's take a look at our stream choices on the go, shall we? Where you can listen to the Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast episodes. So here we go. So you can listen to the episodes on Anchor, Audible, Amazon Music, Breaker, Deezer, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podfriend, Podcast Addict, Podchaser. Don't forget to go to Podfriend and Podchaser to give a review of 5 stars, based on the fact that I try to educate people on the music, artists, the movies, and the TV shows, of course. So I do my best and my research on it. So that's why. Um, Also, we are on Reason FM. We're on Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio. Don't forget to listen to Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast on Google Podcasts. We're on iHeartRadio. And last but not least, the YouTube. Now, before I even talk about YouTube, you're probably wondering why I didn't mention Twitch. I'm kind of taking a break from Twitch because I want to be able to build up the YouTube channel, Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast YouTube page. So, um, basically, um, that's my focus on the YouTube channel. So, speaking of which, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast. Be sure to enable alerts alongside with the notification bell so you can be reminded of when the show goes in the air live via live stream. Be sure to share the videos um, alongside with like, comment on the episodes, especially with the topics that was discussed. Also, be sure to like I said about enabling alerts, is to make sure that you keep track of upcoming episodes, previous episodes that was recorded, so it'll automatically be posted onto the YouTube channel, Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast channel page. So you don't gotta worry about missing out on any episodes whatsoever. And also, also, don't forget to download your favorite episodes. Be sure to rate, be sure to tell a friend to tell a friend. Be sure to share the podcast along with audio streaming platforms alongside with your friends, of course. And also, what else? You can follow the show Meticulous Vibe Juice on Instagram alongside with my other show, Off the Meat Rack Chains New York podcast, of course, alongside with my other handle on Instagram, which is G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York. All right. So be sure to follow Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast on Instagram, Off the Meat Rat Chains New York podcast, and be sure to follow me at G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York. Also, if you have any ideas of music artists, movies, and TV shows that you want me to review, be sure to DM me on Instagram, G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York.
Or you can even go to the show's page, Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast, and then from there, I will review the music artists, the movies, and the TV shows. Now, overall, um, the topics that was discussed in terms of Bow Wow, the Fast and Furious movies, that I actually had to review four movies. Actually, I would say the three albums by Bow Wow. I say that they're classics. They're lit. Also a master. They're also masterpieces. The Fast and the Tokyo Drift. Tokyo Drift is a it's also a classic, which is one of my favorite movies. It's also fire lit, and Fast and the Furious 8, which is Fate of the Furious, which I reviewed alongside with Fast 9, which came out months ago. I can't call it a classic because it came out in June. So I say Fast 9 is fire and a masterpiece since it's been dominating the box office along with IMAX theaters and stuff. And Fate of the Furious is also a classic, one of my favorites, by the way. Um, One of my favorites, by the way. And I gotta say, man, it's kind of like it's kind of interesting to say that it's it's been kind of interesting, man. And I really enjoyed reviewing these TV shows, the movies, and also New York Undercover is also my favorite TV show as well. It's also a classic and stuff like that. So basically, the show itself is basically in the process of doing some shopping around. So this is gonna be like a wait and see. Now, if I hear anything about any new updates or any developments in any story whatsoever, I will be glad to bring that to you. But until then, this is like a wait and see. So I'm not really confirming anything. This is a wait and see. Like I always say at the end of the show, if if you have a dream of being a podcaster like myself, listen, don't let anybody stop you, especially online flizzies who like to waste their time trolling people for no reason whatsoever and end up being, the clown burgers like they are, just like the Klondike bars. What would you do? You eat them like this. Also, be sure to reach out to your friends, your loved ones, your family members, to see what's going on in the inside of what they're going through, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Um, because not that person might be all right, but that person might be going through something on the inside. So you don't have to wait every year for mental health awareness, which is in May every year. You can reach out. You can reach out by following your instincts and what your heart tells you. It's not a. There is no good time to reach out to somebody. It's all about following your instincts, your gut, and what your heart tells you, along with your intuition. Um, that's gonna do it, man. I'm G Money Stacks. Thank you for listening, tuning in, and rocking with me on episode 9 of Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast. We're gonna have some more reviews of TV shows, movies, um, music artists, old school and new school. I didn't forget the new school, so don't worry about that one. I will be reviewing some new school stuff soon, so don't worry. Um, so that's it, man. G Money Stacks clocking out, man. Yo, listen, peace and one love, man. Be careful out there, be safe, um, and be sure to stay maxed up, and be sure to, you know, be around good people. All right, peace and one love.